Thanks for joining us again. It's me, Ben Upton, and James Barry on the mic for episode 33 of this podcast. Who would have thought we would have made it this long? And we almost didn't, because James actually just got done almost electrocuting himself, plugging his computer charger in. James, you want to tell the fans what's going on with that?
Yes, that's right. This show almost never happened. Episode 34 almost never happened because I almost got electrocuted. This show is electric. That is the evidence. Let's get into it, Ben. It's been a great day already. It's the best time of year. It's a great time of year because it's the last series of April. And that's important, Ben, because teams are starting to find out if they're going to be going home. They're going to be making their summer plans here pretty soon.
Yeah.
Some teams are some coaches are really feeling themselves on the hot seat right now.
That's right. And what April brings, especially late April, is May is on the horizon. And May is the most intense month for college baseball because you have teams fighting for their lives. You have teams who are on the bubble trying to make that late push to get themselves in the tournament. And then you also have conference tournaments where anything can happen. And
I love them.
Even if you're a 12 seed out west somewhere, you have a chance to continue to win ball games and put yourself in a position to become a regional participant. And so late April is my favorite time of the year because it just really gets me going for May.
And
you're right.
What's really fun?
What's that?
Sooner rather than later, these guys are going to be done with school, and you just get to go to the yard every day, practice, and go home and travel, and you feel like you're on top of the world, honestly.
Yeah, and that was going to be my last point, but it completely slipped my mind.
No, I snagged it from you.
Late April means school is almost over, and once school is over, it is strictly baseball, and it is great for players because you don't have to worry about calculus class, you don't have to worry about study hall, none of that. All that's out the window. We have players already graduating. They're going to be fighting weekend series with graduation. And so, yeah, this is a great time. And to reiterate, what a great day it's been, James and I actually just got off the phone with a volunteer assistant who kind of went viral on social media. We messaged him. We got him on the show. I
don't call him a volunteer assistant. It just ticks me off so bad.
I know. It's the worst.
This man is a baseball coach. He's good at it.
This guy is a baseball coach, and that is the only thing he is. But yeah, Casey Dykes of Indiana Baseball will be either on next episode or we might have a standalone episode once we get the editing done. But he was a fabulous guest, someone that you guys should look forward to because he was everything we expected him to be, just an awesome dude, just true baseball guy and a family guy, and he puts family and baseball together, and that's why he's such a successful coach. But we won't get too much into that. You guys just listen for the next episode. He'll be on it. Great guest. But we also have some fun things we're going to do today.
Yeah, tell the fans what we got, Ben.
Yeah, so here's a little show preview we have laid out for you. We have the top 10 weekend series pick'em that we're going to start the show with. We usually end on it, but we're going to switch things up a little bit, make you guys give a little treat for you. We're also going to release our first ever top 25 for mid-majors, and that's every school that does not participate in FBS football. And if you ask, what's FBS football? Well, it's basically non-Power 5 conferences and also non-Group of 5 conferences. So
whoever came up with Group of 5 deserves to be taken out to the backfield and put down.
It's just like a participation trophy.
I guarantee you this is how this went. What should we call this Group of 5 conferences that don't have a name? And then someone goes, "You're exactly right."
What do we call these? What do we call this Group of 5 conferences that aren't quite Power 5? There it is, right there, Group of 5. So basically, it's any conference that you have trouble kind of following. Not a lot of live streaming going on. That includes the SoCon, the Southland, the West Coast Conference, the Big East, stuff like that. Who don't have the Power 5 or Group of 5 football conferences. We're ranking them just for your convenience, so you can see what mid majors to look out for in your regional tournament, because they do get an automatic qualifier. So they usually end up as a 3 or 4 seed in your regionals. So you guys can keep a track of what teams you would rather play, which teams you wouldn't. That took a lot of time, but we think we fixed it up right for you guys. And
so
then
you can be informed who the underdogs are come the tournament time of year. And you know what? Ben and I came across some interesting information when we were prepping for our numerous shows. And you might be thinking as a fan, why does it matter who these little schools are? Well, fun fact, 2009 is the only season since the field expanded to 64 where a 4 seed has not beaten a number 1 seed. So every other year, and Ben and I rolled through the last 10 years, it happens often. It's going to happen at least 2 or 3 times coming this tournament.
Absolutely.
So don't be thinking, oh, it doesn't matter. It matters, guys.
It does.
It really does.
In fact, in 2008, I believe it was, Fresno State won the whole thing as a 4 seed. So
Wild.
It's crazy. Like, they were one of the last 4 in. They had an incredible Cinderella story run to the finals, beat Georgia in game 3.
National championship.
That call right there. So 3 and 4 seeds lives matter. You don't want to play them. I mean, you do, but you don't. It's not a sure win, and that's for sure. But anyways, after that, we're going to release a little bit of snippets of our top 64 regional projections that we're going to release. Some takeaways. We're not going to go through all 64, but we will release that tomorrow on a graphic that you guys love. We're also going to talk about some cool midweek action that happened, including Georgia and Georgia Tech drawing over 18,000 people at SunTrust Park, home of the Atlanta Braves, on Tuesday. And yeah, we're gonna have some good segments. So you guys stay with us. But anyways, so the first segment is our top 10 weekend series challenge. It was a challenge until probably last week when I lost about 4 games on the standings. But you guys play along with us at home. We love competing against you guys. We had 2 winners last week, but one of them actually, I guess he's won before, Kyle McMahon or whatever. I forgot. McKivy. Kyle McKivy wins 2 weekends in a row, but ties last weekend. So he gives it to Jacob Sarabia. And we actually didn't get Jacob Sarabia's.
The Sarabia goof?
Yeah, we know Sarabia because he's an old blend friend of ours.
Fun fact, yeah, it's one of my former college teammates. This guy knows more about sports than anyone in the face of the planet. I guarantee it. And so we're going to hit him with an honorary kangaroo court for not submitting his pick.
Yeah. So Jacob Sarabia does not submit a pick, but I think we picked some games that he would love to see. And so this is the
Wait, hold on.
lineup. Oh, what's up?
I have a pick. Tell me if this is on the docket, because our boy Nicholas Milton, who may have been our second or third listener ever. I think he was following us before we made our Twitter account. I think he's been with us for that long. He nominated a series, and we'll give it to him. Is East Carolina and Tulane on the docket?
It is now, man. It is now.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure that Nicholas Milton gets his way, since Jacob Sarabia did not want to submit it. I just read his DMs that we sent him. He said, "Hey, I'll have something by Monday or Tuesday at the latest." It's late Wednesday. It's almost Thursday. And
it's because he's been too busy. He's watching the Astros game as we are recording live at 9:40 Central Time. I guarantee it. But both of our winners were A&M fans, so I'm challenging McVee, Kyle, and Jacobs Arabia, A&M alums. So I'm challenging the rest of our fan base to pick it up.
Yeah, that is right.
Trying to beat us this week.
That is right. And A&M is actually not on the slate this week. So they missed out on an opportunity. But anyway, so here's the lineup. We do have some good Big 12, SEC, Big 10 action, and we have a couple very low mid-majors that we have to pick. So first up is Oklahoma State, Texas Tech. Second up is West Virginia, Texas.
Send me a picture of this, please.
I did.
Oh, I'll have to look. To look. I just
check your phone one time, please.
I must have. I'll have to check my other podcast friend who texts me, I guess.
Yeah, I know. You cheating on me right now, James? You cheating on me? But yeah, and then third is Baylor, TCU, big rivalry there in the Big 12. I think, never mind, I'm not going to say my opinion on that series yet. But and then we had Tennessee, Arkansas, Georgia, Mississippi State, UConn, Sam Houston State, Illinois, Nebraska, Morehead State, Jacksonville State, New Mexico State, Sacramento State, and now Tulane, East Carolina. And then the one series that I had that I'm throwing out is Illinois State, Dallas Baptist. I feel like Dallas Baptist is in it every week. I'm tired of them. I can't get a good read on them. They're out. See ya. Not in the. They missed the cut. We
definitely picked them at least 3 or 4 times.
That's what I'm saying. So they didn't make the cut. They're out. See ya. wouldn't want to be, even though that has some first place implications in the Missouri Valley. But so James, since I picked the series, you actually get to go first. You get to give me one of these bright young, fascinating series that we have ahead.
Right.
And
Well, I would love to, but you haven't sent me a photograph.
yes, I did.
I'm looking at our text messages as we speak.
Are you serious?
Are you about to kangaroo court yourself?
No, I'm just going to emphasize the image so you get the notification.
Oh no, okay, you lied to me. You lied to me. You
I
said you
did
sent
not.
you said you sent me the image. You didn't
You're
say you
in the
sent.
group message.
That's not the same thing.
It goes to your phone. Embrace
Yeah.
debate. Is that a text to you? Yes.
All right, anyways, enough wasting the fans' time. We have some fun series this weekend. I'm making you pick between Georgia and Mississippi State.
Dude, how about Ethan Small versus Emerson Hancock Friday night? Ooh.
Sign me up.
Ooh.
Oodles and oodles of strikeouts. Over under right now. I know you love betting. I'm setting over under on punchies for the game. For punch on.
I'm saying
I'm setting it. You have to take it.
Oh.
You like gambling.
Yeah, I like taking it.
I'm setting it over under on 18 punch outs.
That's it?
What? You know how many? There's only. Let me see. Let me do the math. There's only gonna be 54 outs in the game. Not even 27 and 24. What is that?
54. Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I'm good at math.
I'm saying over. I'm saying that Ethan Small might get that himself.
All right, I'm going with 18. I can't back down. I said 18.
I'm going over. If you take the under, you're a risky guy.
You're a dog.
But I'm going to take. Speaking of dogs, I'm going to take the dogs. The Bulldogs will win this series.
Oh, there you go, Ben. This is how Ben's getting back in the race. He's taking the Bulldogs.
The Bulldogs will win this series.
All right, which one?
Let's go with. I'm going to fire up the Mississippi State fans that listen to the show. I'm taking the Georgia Bulldogs, about an hour and a half north of me right now. Put them in. They're playing good ball. I think they show up this weekend. Give me the Georgia Bulldogs.
All right.
All right. So pick number 2 is, in my opinion, probably one of the toughest ones to pick is Oklahoma State, Texas Tech.
I'm gonna lose this matchup. Yeah, I just no confidence in either one of these.
No matter what you pick.
All right, I've got to ask you a tough question.
All right.
Do we have the home and away distinctions correct?
I didn't look at them. So you don't have them. I don't have them. I don't have them, dude. If I had them, that'd be nice. But I really didn't look at them. I think it's at Texas Tech, but I'm not 100% sure.
I don't want to hear it. It's okay. I'm picking Texas Tech.
Okay. James picks Texas Tech, the Red Raiders.
I actually watched their game versus New Mexico. I watched mucho college baseball last night.
Do you want to pat yourself on the back anymore, or?
I want to break it down later in the show if that's something that we might have an idea to do, talk about games maybe.
Okay, that works. And then the second series I'm going to make you pick is battle for first place out west. New Mexico State, Sacramento State.
I'm not picking against about the second best offense in the history of the known universe.
All right.
Hey, fun fact. This is an immediate announcement. As we approach tournament time, we are going to come up with power rankings. We're going to have a podcast that includes heavily power rankings of the best hitting and pitching teams in the country, in-depth analysis, not just limited to numbers, but specifically, we're going to highlight numbers compared to strength of schedule and top results and all that. So you will be ready come tournament time about a month. Ben, I'm fired up today.
I am too. I'm pretty wired, man. This is earlier than we usually do our shows. This is I'm feeling a little jittery. I love it.
Dude, I think we're making coffee nervous right now. I can't take credit for that. I heard the Red Sox announcer use that today. He's talking about Eric Burns saying that guy makes coffee nervous.
Oh, that's just straight facts. Eric Burns scares me. I want to see him. I want to see him and Dallas Braden in a room together and just see what goes on.
Dude, the universe would explode. Did you see what he did the other day?
Not too sure what you're talking about. No.
Eric Burns played Guess he set a record for. We'll make this quick. He set a record for most holes of golf played in 24 hours. He set the world record. I want you to guess how many holes of golf he played.
What's 8 times 18?
Dude, you're gonna make
96? No, way more than that.
It's 144.
144. That's my answer.
You're not even close.
Oh. Higher or lower?
Higher.
Oh, no.
Dude, he played a lot of holes of golf.
How many?
How many times does Joey Gallo strike out in a year?
Like 215?
200. How about 240? He played 240 holes of golf in 24 hours. He didn't stop. He stayed up for he stayed up for 24 straight hours and just played golf. And he like ran after the ball every time.
That's incredible. Dude, if there's somebody in this world that I would say has a chance at that record, it
Oh,
would be
wait, did
him.
I just say 240?
Yeah.
He played 420. My bad.
Oh,
420 holes of golf.
420?
Yeah, I watched it today.
Well, yeah, if you say it that way, like that is about how many times Joey Gallo strikes out in a year.
But anyways,
That's incredible. That's a nice little fact for the fans to go quiz their friends and roommates and coworkers
what's the
on.
world record for most holes of golf played in 24 hours? Eric Bird's 420.
Oh, that's incredible. Anyways, where do we leave off? You got to give me a series. Give me 2 series.
Okay. Yeah, you just made me choose between Oklahoma State and Texas Tech, correct?
And New Mexico State and
there you go. All right. You are going to pick between. Man, you're getting West Virginia and Texas.
Horns down, baby. Always have been, always will be.
Didn't you say they're like a half game out of last place in the Big 12?
They're a half a game out of last place in the Big 9.
So that what you're saying is, via scheduling, they could be virtually tied in last place.
Maybe with Kansas.
Because that's what made the scheduling difference. Half a game.
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
Give me another one.
Do I have to? No, I'm kidding. All right. You're picking between. That's not a team. Illinois and Nebraska?
I'm taking Nebraska.
Fine.
I'm taking Nebraska. I like them this year.
You know what? I've got to give you props. You've got me rattled with not having distinctions between the home and away teams. This is how you get back in it.
I don't know either. I swear.
Yeah,
I didn't take that extra like 30 seconds per team to like figure out who's hosting and who's not. So
no, but this is good. It's just total chaos, and that's how you get back when you're down. Just ultimate chaos. It got nothing.
Yeah. I need an 0 for 5 from you, big time. Whatever it takes, man.
If I go 0 for 5, we'll have to come up with some embarrassing stipulation via the fans.
I've almost been there, man.
No, you have been there.
I have been there. I knew it seemed closer than what I'm usually like.
It was our third ever series, and we were like, wait a second, is this possible? And then it happened. It was beautiful.
Oh, man, that's
all right. So I'm giving you a second one.
Yeah, please do. No, you just gave me 2. Yeah, it's your turn. You get 2. We do this every week. We should figure it out by now.
You're right. We're fired up. We're fired.
So I give you 2 now, and I'm giving you Tennessee, Arkansas.
Not fun picking between these 2 teams. I'm not picking against the Razorbacks, though.
Okay, fair enough. And then Morehead State, Jacksonville State.
That one is one I'm afraid of. I'm not picking against Morehead State.
All right. That's a series that like you really got to know if they're playing at home or not.
Oh yeah.
Because like Morehead State's field's just outrageous. Jacksonville State's field is really nice and clean cut and everything.
And besides Morehead State's field being outrageous, we both played there. Those guys thrive off being there. Like they're insane.
It's like their 50-foot right field wall like gives them superpowers or something.
Like, no joke. They are one of the craziest dugouts in all the country. And you can be like, oh, how much does that really matter? It matters more in these mid-major series.
Oh, yeah.
It really does. It's just like what they have like 40 guys in there. I swear, it's wild.
They like hire guys off the football team to sit in their dugout and like just scream abusive stuff towards the infielders. So
Dude,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
When we played there my junior year, they had the like you know how you can like watch the other team doing BP when you're on the road, like you can't go into your locker room, so you're like stuck. Yeah, they had by far the funniest player I've ever seen. He was like their fourth or third string catcher. And just for you, he looked like Tanner Hawley. So I want you to just picture this.
Yeah, that's just not a good look.
And he's out there, and he's playing shortstop in his full catcher's gear, and he's just running after every ball, diving and wearing it off the chest. Every single ball he could find. Like like 2-hop line drives, no face mask on, wearing it off the chest protector. Like it was the fun. I can still picture this kid to this day.
I wonder what he's doing nowadays.
Dude, I hope he's still there. I hope
if he's still there and you know who he is, just we'll interview him. Yeah. We'll interview him for an extensive amount of time.
Yeah, if you're a Morehead State alum, we gotta have this guy on the show. I couldn't take my eyes off it. It was hilarious. Like the coaches were asking him to stop, and he wasn't. Like he didn't care.
That's whenever you know, like you just can't control a kid. Is whenever you have to ask him to stop, and he's just like, no.
They were playing rave music the whole time, and he was fist pumping to the rave music like that little John song. Dan, dan, dan. He's just wearing balls off the chest. It was so funny.
That's bad, man. That's real bad.
Give me another series.
No. I think it's time for you to give me two.
Am I wrong again on this?
Yeah, and you give me.
You gave me Morehead State and Jackson, and then you're right, and then I picked Arkansas before that. All right, you are getting
So there's Tulane and East Carolina. There's Baylor, TCU, and is that it? No. Oh, and UConn, Sam Houston State.
Yeah. All right, you're picking between East Carolina and Tulane. I want no part of it.
Golly, I wish I knew where this place was. I'm gonna take East Carolina. No.
Yips, get the yips. I'll let you change your mind because I want no part of it. So I'm just gonna let you have as much anxiety.
No, I'm taking East Carolina. From top to bottom, they're way more talented. Even though I do love Tulane.
Did you see the Cody Hosey highlight?
Yeah, the guy's a freak. I've been saying it since day one. It's finally like catching on that people are like, oh, this kid's like actually good. I'm like, yeah, I told you in late February, like he's my Golden Spikes like candidate. And
Sleeper. Now
he's hitting 20 homers and leading the nation. So
his swing is unreal.
Yeah, no, it's perfect.
It looks like he's literally just muscling through the baseball. Like not like he's swinging too hard, but like the baseball is just at his mercy.
Yeah,
it's just destroying it.
It reminds me a lot of Albert Pujols. Whenever like he would just hit baseballs that just didn't stop. They just kept flying and flying, and just scarred me as a child, as a young Astros fan. That's like the way the ball comes off his bat is like he looks like you're right, he's muscling the baseball over the fence on a line. It's crazy stuff.
Dude, I don't know if you watch the whole highlight, but the Tulane announcer just goes nuts for Cody Hosey home runs. I love it. He gets mucho points. He gets as many points in the opposite direction as the UCF SID.
Oh God, don't even get me started. But I'm gonna take ECU. Then you give me one more.
That's right. There's Sam Houston and UConn, and the last one is DBU and Illinois State.
No. Baylor, TCU.
Baylor, TCU. Ew. Ugh. I'll make you pick between UConn and Sam Houston.
I want UConn.
All right.
And then you're gonna take Baylor. I know.
I'll take Baylor, and this is how I'll go 0-5.
This is the way I knew. I wanted to set up this way because I know you think TCU sucks, and I know that you cannot pick Baylor right this whole year. You're like 0-3. So I wanted you to pick that series, and I wanted you to say Baylor because I know now that TCU is actually going to wake up and win a couple ball games.
Dude, okay, so now can we transition?
Fell right for my trap, man.
Stop. Okay, well now we're going to transition right into where I get to pat myself on the back for enjoying college baseball yesterday because I watched TCU play Dallas Baptist, and I couldn't make it through the game. I watched the game like this. I had to cover my eyes. I thought Jim Schlossnagle was going to have a heart attack and die on the field. On the field, Ben. I didn't know what I was watching. Like, it was pass ball, wild pitch after pass ball. I saw a throwing error / fielding error, which I actually want to get your opinion on. So remind me of that later if I lose it. Then I also saw a dropped ball by a first baseman. Just dropped the ball. It was kind of a little far, but like he definitely dropped the ball by the look on his face. And just pitchers not having it. And Dallas Baptist just bringing in dude after dude. Like Dallas Baptist is bringing in midweek arms, just punching out TCU guys, punching them out.
They're not the same type of team. And on our first like Tuesday mailbag of the year, somebody asked us like, "Hey, is TCU recruiting different?" And I was like,
"I actually have a kangaroo court for you on this one."
Okay,
but slightly. So TCU is actually like a top 10 offensive team in the country, but the strength of schedule is bad. So, and it really shows up when they play these good teams. So it's tough to figure it out. It's tough to figure it out because they're like 24-18. So they're not like classically a bad baseball team, but as far as Power 5 goes, like and you're below 500 in conference play, it ain't good.
All I'm saying is they spend days and weeks on their little hype video they put up every year, right? And it gets all the high schoolers all excited. Like, it starts with like an alarm clock and the guy slams it off at like 5:01 and like
we
goes
love the
to him.
videos. Don't get us wrong.
And it's like those videos aren't matching up to the program now. It would be like if like Boston College made that video and people are just like, they're not a baseball school. Well, like right now, TCU is not looking like a baseball school. Like they have these big, nice, fancy facilities, and then they have players out there who can't field a routine ground ball, can't throw it to first base, and pitchers who can't throw strikes. And it's like, yeah, you can hit a little bit, but that's not going to get you far.
I think it's the pitching. I think it's pitching.
It's got to be the defense too. The defense is
I feel like they have like. There's no way they have below average defensive athletes, but. Here's what I think it is what this really shows you is that the mental game ain't it all cracked up to be. I think it's very important, but you can't will players that aren't good enough to win into winning. It's just at some point, like your bat speed is what it is. Like your athleticism is at some point. And we don't know what that point is, but I think what it shows is maybe it shouldn't be the highest priority. Maybe
that's arguable, but can we both agree at least that TCU is most likely not getting in the tournament this year?
Dude, they're not getting in the tournament unless they win 2 out of 3 in conference every weekend the rest of the way out.
Yeah, no, I agree. And even if they do get in the tournament, you should have no problem beating them in the regional. Like they should be 2 in Q. Like go play your 2 games and get out. Like they're losing to most 4 seeds that we have in the regional projection right now, in my opinion, at least. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to get too much into it, but like a team like Sam Houston State, who we project as a 4 seed, I think mops the floor with TCU right now.
Yeah.
And they're looking like they're going to get matched up in a regional together if it happens that way. But yeah, no, TCU not looking good.
I feel like it's maybe an overemphasis on the mental game. And I've spoken with some people, and perhaps they're not on the forefront of every developmental idea, is what I've been gathered from some sources. And maybe it's finally catching up. Who knows? But this error that happened, so it's a bunt play. This is what really just started the wheels to fall off, and then we'll move on. It's a bunt play. Third baseman is on the run. He makes a good throw, but the first baseman had crashed, had charged. So the second baseman is covering first. It's obviously a right-handed thrower because it's a second baseman. So he's got his left foot on the bag, but he's a left-handed glove, right? He's got a glove on his left hand. And so the throw is like it's where a throw should be. It's away from the line. It's not not up the line.
Not going to hit the runner running 2 steps inside the line.
Right. And so the second baseman has to like reach across his body, and I swear it was like 2 feet away from the bag, and it just goes up the right field line. And dude, I got to give Jim Schlossnagle credit Because while all this is going on, and every time something goes wrong in this game, every time, guess where the camera pans to?
Right to him.
Right to him. Right to him. And not once did he have and every mound visit, he just looked so frustrated. But what I'm giving him credit for is it didn't look like he was frustrated at his players. It looked like he was frustrated for them. Like, it genuinely looked like he was like, guys, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, he didn't look like he was mad at them. It did, like, we've seen plenty of coaches, like, I would say borderline, disrespect their players. And I didn't see that from this guy. So I got to give him credit there. But it ain't all fun and games up in Fort Worth right now.
Yeah, no. And hopefully we can look back on this podcast and say, like, oh, man, we were so wrong. Like, they had everything figured out from day one. But right now, we're pretty confident that TCU just isn't cut out for the tournament this year, which is fine. They'll rebuild, they'll reload for next year. But we'll just have to see. Anyways, James, let's move on to the mid-major rankings brought to you by Press Sports. You guys go download the Press Sports app. It's a perfect place for all your sports highlights, whether you have kids, put their sports highlights on there. It is a recruiting service. It is also a social media app for all sorts of sports. Like, they have cheerleading, wrestling, baseball, basketball, football, and they're starting to get top recruits now on all of those sites. So you can check out, it's basically Instagram, where you're scrolling through videos and like liking posts and adding new friends and connections. So it's really cool. It is on the App Store. It's called Press Sports, and they are sponsoring our first ever mid-major rankings. And so let's go ahead and
dive into it.
Yeah, let's dive into it. And there's a little disclaimer that I want to say before we get into this. Mid-major is meaning mid-major. It is not Power 5. It is not Group of 5. So I've already had two people that I've sent this out to say, where's Texas State? And it's like, okay, they're not a mid-major in the grand scheme of things. They are a Group of 5 because they're in the Sun Belt. So these teams are all lower tier. Some of them are well-funded, though, in baseball. Like teams like UC Santa Barbara and San Diego, like those schools are well-funded in baseball. That doesn't matter. These are just the top 25 in order, best to worst mid-major schools.
Let's start at 25. Let's save the excitement.
Yeah, we'll start at 25. At 25 comes the Samford Bulldogs. They are in the Southern Conference, home of the Mercer Bears, and they are leading the Southern Conference right now. They won the conference last year. They actually beat Florida State as a 4 seed in the regional. So they're a team not to take lightly. They're out of Birmingham, Alabama, and they have it's a great private school over there in Birmingham. I can't stand them because they were a big rival of mine, but I will give them credit. They're 30-11 this year, also 11-1 in conference. They're at 25.
Can I interject?
Yeah.
So the way we came up with these rankings is it's not just based off record alone, because these are mid-major schools. There are huge discrepancies between the quality of teams that a Coastal Carolina plays and a Texas State plays versus these teams play. So you're going to see some teams that have really good records at the bottom, like Sanford, 30-11, and some teams much higher at the top. And I'll just throw in Pepperdine is ranked fairly high. They're one game above 500, but their non-conference strength of schedule is number 2 in the country.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as it is to come up with a top 25 and assume everyone's playing high teams and creating a ranking. So
yeah, no, that's good. That's a good point, James. I left that out on accident. I meant to say it.
Dude, you do so much, man. I could at least like.
Seriously though. So 24 is Morehead State. We talked about them in our top 10 weekend series challenge. They're really good at the Ohio Valley Conference. 23 is UT Rio Grande Valley. They are in, I don't even know what conference. I always forget.
I think they're in the WAC.
The WAC. No. Yep. Maybe.
I looked it up.
We'll see. Rio Grande Valley is at 23. They're 25-15 this year, 11-4 in conference. San Francisco is 22, and no, we're not talking Giants. We're talking Niners, the 49ers of.
No, I thought they were the Dons.
The Dons of one of them over there. Oh,
they're the Dons.
Charlotte
49ers.
Yeah, opposite side of the country. Yeah, the San Francisco Dons looking good this year.
You're thinking of the football team.
San Francisco 49ers. That might be a low point of the whole podcast for me ever. No, we're not talking Giants. We're talking 49ers. Oh, man. No, we're talking the Dons. Thanks for that save, James. I'm gonna quit being so creative. 21, we have
You can't
Incarnate
help
Word.
it. You really can't.
That's the way my brain's wired. 21, we have Incarnate Word. They're in the Southland. They're 26 and 14. Wright State at 20. St. John's at 19.
I like how we're not naming mascots anymore.
Yeah. Elon. Do you know Elon's mascot?
They're the Phoenix or something.
Elon, they're the All-Americans because they have like 3 All-American pitchers this year. They're at 18. College of Charleston is at 17.
Such a weird name.
What's that?
They start with college. Like their name actually starts with College of Charleston.
The College of Charleston.
Like very.
I think it's.
I can't think of any other college/university that starts their name off with college. Name me one.
College of.
I really can't think of any. Very odd.
Yeah, you're right. That is. They're unique. I like it though. Sam Houston State is at 16. Bradley is at 15. St. Mary's 14. VCU 13. San Diego 12. We've had them in the top 25 this year. Liberty 11. We've had them in the top 25, maybe. No, close.
We've heavily debated it for several weeks.
Yeah. Loyola Marymount is 10.
I want the top 10. I came up with this. Let me
you go top 10. Yeah, sorry.
All right, no, you're good. Number 9, rolling in Pepperdine. We established them earlier. The Campbell Camels rolling at number 8, 13 and 4 in the Big South. That league's too easy for them. The Bryant Bears. I think
Bulldogs.
Bears. There we go. Bryant Bulldogs. They can really swing the bat. 10 and 2 in conference, 28 and 13 overall. Now we get to the top 6. These are some teams that might even make it to super. Wouldn't want to play them.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Wouldn't want to play them. Here you got Indiana State. Make Omaha sick.
SYK. Yep.
Ben's original hashtag. I love it. UC Irvine Anteaters rolling in at number 5. Evansville Aces having themselves a terrific year. Their RPI is actually top 40 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Good for Evansville. Illinois State. Shout out to you, Jared O'Brien. Love you, buddy. One of our hardcore fans. Illinois State, 8-1 in conference play. Now we've come to the top 2, the big dogs. One of these teams is going to host a regional. The other is a number 2 seed, and a strong one at that. The number 2 seed is the Dallas Baptist Patriots, 28 and 12. They're legit. And number 1, the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos at 31. Yep.
And it was pretty clear cut who number 1 was going to be. Santa Barbara we have as a national seed right now. They're playing legit baseball. They will probably even host a super regional. But all 25 of these teams we project, I think for the most part, to make it in the tournament. Maybe there's a few that don't.
It's honestly about 70-30.
Yeah.
Because some of them are in the same conference. It's a power ranking right now of mid-major teams.
Right.
Is the best way to put it.
And so we think it turns out pretty well, but you guys are open to debate with us who we left out, who you think should be ranked higher. We don't care because at the end of the day, we make the rules and your opinions, they do sometimes sway us, but most of the time we just, find a good way to argue with you because we don't just throw these out here.
We've had a few people provide some actual numbers behind something.
And we love that.
Like, hey,
we love that.
Yeah, they're like, hey, did you look at this number and this number? Like, actually, we haven't. Like, thank you. Thank you very much.
We know that for next time. So your input does mean something to us. We love it. And so that pretty much wraps up everything except for some of the midweek stuff that we want to cover. We touched on it a little bit to start the show, but Georgia Tech and Georgia played a great game at SunTrust Field in Atlanta on Tuesday. 18,000 fans showed up. That's more than any SEC stadium out there. And it turned out to be a good ball game. Like our boy Kyle McCann hit a homer into the right field. I forgot what they call it, like the Coors Light deck or something. That was neat. And I had a chance to go to that game for free. Shout out to Press Sports. They were going to hook me up, but I actually had some stuff I needed to do for my other job and didn't get a chance to make it out to Atlanta. But, man, I regret that. There would have been 18,001 people if I would have went, just clarify. But, yeah, so, James, what really stood out to you during the midweek? I know you watched a lot of baseball. I did myself. There was There were some good games. Like Liberty played at UNC. Like that ended up being a really good game. We had.
I really liked. I'm fired up talking about this game, this series. If you don't mind me jumping in.
Go ahead. No.
Oregon State and Nevada played two intense games on
Monday,
back-to-back
Tuesday,
days.
right?
Monday, Tuesday, Nevada sweeps both of them on walk-offs. And the intensity and the excitement from these Nevada kids was unreal. Like, I thought they were going to punch somebody. I really did. I thought they were going to start a mosh pit at home plate, and Adley Rutschman was going to be in the middle of it. Because they walk off Oregon State Monday and Tuesday, crazy wins. We actually had a tweet that got kind of viral about it because these kids do put in a lot of work as student athletes, and at smaller schools, like you're not as famous as the guys from the Power Five. You ain't on ESPN,
Right.
Not half the guys are going to be drafted in their careers, right? And all that work and that lack of recognition, it's all worth it for these little moments when you feel like you're on top of the world. And you could really see it in the Nevada players. Like you could, it was the highlight of their year, the most excited they could be, because you take down the national champs, and you deserve to be that excited. So, but I'm not worried about Oregon State.
And so, do you want to hear my recruiting pitch if I was a college coach and looking to recruit a guy that was maybe a high draft pick out of high school? And it leads perfectly into what you were saying, is that the intensity of that game and the passion in that game was something you will not find in minor league baseball ever. Maybe not even in like Major League Baseball. Like maybe like a Major League playoff series or World Series. Yeah, you get that. But to have a bunch of guys out there rooting each other on, like literally into the game, like dogpiling on home plate on a walk-off win, having the crowd being intense, screaming and yelling. Like you just don't see that in minor league baseball. You won't ever see it.
In the Appalachian League.
Yeah, you're not in Boise, Ohio. You're not having fans scream at the other team because of the school pride or whatever. So to go to a school for 3 or 4 years and develop and have a chance to play in that atmosphere just gets you ready for the next level more than going on a bus to Vancouver, Canada, and playing like a 2 or 3 game series against other teams in that minor league system. So I think that college baseball, you really see the purity of it and the joy that comes along with it, with players supporting each other, parents. And you mentioned it earlier, like when you're at an SEC school, Pac-12 school, or even like sometimes like Conference USA schools, like you become a local celebrity amongst the diehard fans, and they want you to take pictures with like their nieces and nephews and daughters and sons. And you just don't see that in minor league baseball. So that would be my recruiting pitch to a kid that's looking at $150,000 out of high school, or a 75% scholarship to Mississippi State or Vanderbilt, something like that. So, and that's not an original idea for me. I got that from Tim Corbin from Vanderbilt. I think he talked about it in an interview last summer, and I really thought about it and was like, he's right. Like that's how he gets the top talent away from high school is, hey, come here. You'll play in important games. You won't play in any more important games until you get to the major leagues. And so, I mean, it has me fired up. I'm sold.
If I was good enough, I would have bought it.
Yeah, Vanderbilt wouldn't have had to tell me much to go there.
No.
Like, hey, you can wash uniforms and suit up every home game. Like, sign me up.
Rudy.
Yeah, sign me up. I'll take the best BP you've ever seen, sir.
That's right. I'll make us look good coming off the bus and hitting VP. You got it, Coach.
James, so before we end the show, I want you to ask the questions you asked me before the show that your dad brought up to you.
Yeah.
Bill Berry, absolute legend.
I want to cover some scores from yesterday, if that's all right with you.
Yeah.
All right. So UCLA over Cal State Fullerton. Cal State Fullerton, did you know Cal State Fullerton has the second longest active NCAA tournament streak behind Florida State?
I did not know that.
They do. I think it's 24, 25 straight years they've made it to the dance.
Okay. They're not going to make it this year.
Not unless they win that tournament. Not happening.
Good luck.
And I personally, I think number 1 and number 2 on that list are not going to be occurring this year.
Florida State's got a chance. They revived from the dead, remember? reincarnated.
Well, can we touch on why I think we both root against Florida State?
Maybe. What? I forgot what it was.
Well, we went and looked at their histoy, and they have
Oh, yeah. This is good. I like this.
They are infamous for losing to 4 seed underdogs at home in their own regional. Like, I think it's happened at least 3 or 4 times in the last 5 years. Losing.
I think it was 3 in like the last 8 years, or 4 in the last 8. But that's incredible. Like, they host a regional and they lose first game.
You know why that ticks me off? Here's why it ticks me off. Because I'm not against players getting fired up, but I think Florida State gets so much love and credit for winning these games. Like, hold on a second. Like, you play 35 games at home all year anyways. You play some poor mid-major school, host them at home. You lose to them or struggle to beat them, and then when they do sneak out of their own regional, if they do happen to do that, because 42 straight years of the playoffs, they've never won the College World Series.
Mike Martin has 0 College World Series championships. Like, we have the same amount as Mike Martin.
Totally.
And he's retiring this year, and he's not winning one.
Totally wild. 42 years in a row, the program's never won the World Series. And I've seen them walk off Sam Houston State in their own regional, and their players are just celebrating like they've accomplished so much. It's like, oh, give me a break. Yeah. That's why I root against them. It's like, yes, it's totally sickening. Like, I would have much more respect for them. They just blew the doors off these teams, and then you get to host your own regional, host your own super regional. Just get out of here. So we're going to continue with some scores. Louisville over Cincinnati, 12-0. These are yesterday's scores, by the way.
Yeah, I thought you were going to tell us about what your dad said.
That was after. I said after we're going to run through the scores. We're going to close the show on our trivia.
Okay.
Arkansas over Northwestern State on Tuesday. They actually fall tonight, Wednesday, as we're recording. Ole Miss falls to Mississippi State 8-1 in a nice rivalry game played at Trustman Park. There was a good crowd on site for that one, too. Texas A&M over UTA 10-5. Arizona State handles UNLV 9-2. East Carolina over UNC Wilmington 8-5. Coastal Carolina continues their losing ways, losing North Carolina 6-1. Coastal is now 24-17 on the year.
Yikes! Not good.
And I dove into it. They're 4-5-1 against Q1 teams, which is respectable. But they're like 9-8 against the next tier. It's just what's going on? Like weird stuff. North Carolina State over Tennessee Tech 10-6. Tennessee Tech can actually still hit home runs. I looked into it. They're like top 5 in the country in homers this year.
Their ballpark's a launching pad.
Is it? God,
oh yeah,
totally wild. LSU over Lamar 5-3. Texas Tech over New Mexico 6-4. And 2 more games for you guys. Auburn over Jacksonville State 14-2. Tennessee over Gardner-Webb 5-0. The Tennessee pitching staff's legit, even on a Tuesday night when they didn't have practice the day before. If there's a day to not show up, it's on a Tuesday midweek against a team that you've never heard of without throwing a bullpen the day before. Tennessee pitching is legit. That is a midweek recap of your scores around the nation as we prep into, what are we, week 12 now?
Week
11?
Week 11 sounds about right. James, you want to know a fun fact that my dad just texted me? He said, did you know that baseball is the only sport where on like a walk-off win, like AKA buzzer beater or whatever, the team celebrates with the guy who assisted they go and celebrate with the guy who assisted on the win rather than the guy who scores the winning run. And
this is true.
So think about it. Like if let's say in basketball, the point guard passes it out to the corner and the guy in the corner makes a 3. Like, could you imagine if they ignored that guy and like went and celebrated with the point guard who had the assist? Or better example, this one's funny. What if in football they celebrated with the long snapper or the holder and not the kicker?
That's wild.
Like, hey man, that's a great snap. We wouldn't have won it without you. Like, no, like, so baseball is the only sport where in a game-ending, run scoring, point scoring, whatever you want to call it, scenario, they go and attack and dogpile the guy who assisted on it, who got the hit, rather than the guy who scored. So
this is very true. In fact, I was introducing baseball to one of my soccer friends who'd never seen baseball before, and he said the same thing. He said, "Why aren't they celebrating with him? He scored." I was like, "No, that's not how it works."
Soccer's another good example.
He was like, "But why? He scored." I was like, "But he didn't have to really. He was just there. Like but."
No, this brings me up to another good point. So in cricket, if you hit a home run, or like what's equivalent to a home run, like scoring run, whatever it's called, you get to hit again. You get to hit again, right? And so what if in baseball, after you hit a home run, you get to go back in the box and hit again?
Dude, I heard that the MLB, this is on the same topic, I guess, heard the MLB was considering this proposal, that if you're losing in the 9th inning, you can start at any point in your lineup that you want.
That's a joke.
I'm not a baseball purist. But that is a joke.
That is a joke. Could you imagine being like down by 1 run, bottom 9, and you're like, all right, like we're gonna send up Barry Bonds, Jeff Kent, and JT Snow. Like you guys are gonna get it done, right? Oh,
totally. I hope it never gets brought up again. But they were seriously considering it. I don't think they voted on it. But I heard it talked about on LB Network for a couple of days, and I almost threw my remote to the TV.
I would have done it.
But to finish your thought, baseball is the only sport in where the offense does not possess the ball as well.
Yeah, it does whenever it's connected to your barrel.
For some of us more than others.
Yeah.
But the question that Ben is referring to, Ben, who do you think is the best team that is not going to get in the tournament if everything ended today?
If everything ended today, the best team not in the tournament would probably be, like, talent-wise or like record-wise?
Talent-wise.
Probably the Florida Gators or maybe the Texas Longhorns.
I'm picking Coastal Carolina.
Yeah, I mean that's still a good pick.
Because I think Florida finds a way to get in. I think eventually they'll get in.
Yeah, but you said if it ended today, which has me thinking that Florida and Texas.
I'm not sure. Okay.
And we have Coastal Carolina in, I think, in our 64 projection. So I don't know. I think you might have.
No, we don't.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. We swapped them for the Texas State Bobcats, which is not Texas Southern. Major max fine to several Mississippi State fans who referred to Texas State as Texas Southern.
Yeah.
I almost understand, but no.
I mean, that's like saying like Mississippi Valley State is the same thing as Mississippi State. It's not acceptable.
That would be like saying that. You're exactly.
All right, James, you got anything else you want to say before we end the show?
Well, yeah, the last question, which is, is there anything you'd like to change about the NCAA tournament?
Yes.
Let's hear it.
I think that it should be 32 regionals, best 2 out of 3. That way you have 32 teams hosting a regional, 2 out of 3, and then you cut it in half the next week. So obviously, like 64 would go into 32. So you would have 16 super regionals, best 2 out of 3, which is already a thing, right?
Yeah.
And then the winner of the super regional 2 out of 3 just goes to Omaha, and then it stays the same Omaha double elimination. So that way, it'd be cool. Like think about it if like teams 31 and 32 played each other, and like 31 got to host. Like there's more opportunity to host and like raise money for your school by hosting a regional. And then if you win that, then you get to go play in another round against probably a bigger school, and they get 2 opportunities to raise money, which they would anyways, I guess, with a regional and super regional. But I think it'd be really cool. 32 regionals, best 2 out of 3. So you clearly find who the better team is, and then you just do it again the next week, and then it'd be like a super regional, and then you do it again the next week, and it's Omaha time.
Yeah,
I think that's something that would be reasonable to try out at least for a year. Like, could you imagine if like I'm trying to think of like team 32 and 33 would be? It would be like
close to, and NC State is probably close.
No. It would be.
Let's see, because
I don't know, like Liberty versus.
Well, hold on a second. 16 times 2 is 32. So our last 2 seed, or our second to last 2 seed, I just had it pulled up.
But you get my point. Like, it would be really cool to see, I don't know, like UConn play against Southern Miss, 2 out of 3
Yeah,
regional, and
yeah,
then the next round it's like, all right, the winner of that gets to play against the winner of UCLA and Coppin State or whatever it is.
yeah.
And so, like, I don't know. I think that'd be cool. The only downside would be that the top teams playing like 63 and 64 are like pretty much shoe-ins to host a super regional. Like,
Yeah,
they're going to be done in 2 days. That's a downside, but I haven't
yeah.
really thought about the downsides too much.
If there's something I would change, I've never really liked that. I remember from the time I first started watching college baseball, I must have been like 10 or 12, that these teams get to host a super regional at their home field. Like, I thought that's extremely unfair,
Yeah.
extremely wild. So I know the reasons for it. So that probably won't ever change. But I think I'd like to see maybe a 3 out of 5 in the super regional. I think that'd be cool.
You could do like a 2, 2, and 1, fly back and forth.
No, oh no. I mean, you can have it all in the same place, but I like to see them have more chances. Like 3 out of 5 would be fine. I'd like that.
Okay. I mean, I'm not against it. That sounds
I
good.
mean, in a perfect world, in a utopian world, I'd like a neutral. I'd like neutral site super regionals. I'd think it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
totally wild. But I mean, if everyone has the chance to host, I guess you could say. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Whatever.
they're fun atmospheres. Like, don't get me wrong, the atmosphere is better that teams get to host at home than they probably would be at a neutral site. You know, I'm sure the atmosphere would be better, but as far as like, that just ain't even close to being fair. It ain't.
Yeah, it's not. So, anyways, we had our little hour episode. You guys join us again Friday. We're gonna have that interview with Casey Dykes, assistant coach of Indiana, and he's a great guest. You guys really should look forward to that interview. We're releasing a lot of cool things tomorrow, which is the field of 64 projection. We have the mid-major top 25, and we also have our top 10 weekend series pick'ems. You guys play along with us. But what's up?
And this will be our first show to officially be on YouTube in complete form.
I think so.
Wow.
So we got to get all that straightened out, but it should be.
Look out, Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
We're coming for you, buddy.
You guys check us out on YouTube. But with all that being said, you guys have been the best to us. We love you. Best of luck to you guys this next Thursday, Friday. Consume as much college baseball as possible. Message us if you need anything. We'll be here for you. So thanks, guys.
Responsibly.